see if we can get closer. It's poking the...
So Phil was saying that he watched these guys like literally like lay the boards down on top of the bolts and then just jump on them until they busted through the plywood, and like can't exactly find a code that says that, you know, that's not allowed, but I don't know, it seems really sketchy that it just like busts through and like that's like okay. So we're gonna ask around. Just seems really sloppy. You can see more over here. Like every single one is just like busted through, and it's just like, sure, maybe it's fine. It goes under like the footers of the walls and stuff, but like just seems so sloppy. And just leaving trash. Like there's a trash can right there. Trash. There's another, there's like a bag of chips over there or something. Oh, that's frustrating. But yeah, look at these ones. It's like the whole corner is freaking busted. Look at this, whole corner, busted. Just like, you can see. Like, how is that okay? It looks like they started layout too. You can see these markings on the floor. Like that should be where our interior walls are gonna start going up. So that's pretty exciting. All right, these are looking pretty good. So these are the wells that we needed because our grade comes up so high. So those are our vents for into our crawl space, and these wells are gonna keep like the dirt from eroding into them. That works. Okay, interesting over here that the subfloor has been notched out for these locations, and they've got plates here. So I wonder if that's what they're planning to do everywhere else, but just seems a bit strange. Is that what you think, Phil? Is like they'll end up doing this all the way around?
I would assume the longer ones are anchoring something. I don't think the short ones do anything else other than get in the way.
Looks like we finally got this hole filled in. It's pretty nice. So we got the dehumidifier in here. That's been running for a few days. Looks pretty good. It actually looks pretty dry in here. Phil got the flashing along this wall. And as far as I can tell, it looks really dry. This wall, it looks like it might be a little damp along this wall here. Yeah, and it might be damp along that edge there. So dehumidifier is working. I think that flashing, that drip edge really helped there. Got lots of materials on the side. I think this is some sill plate right here. And they got some good gravel down here. This is going to be our future driveway, and then packed it down inside the garage there. We got a lot of rain, so we got a lot of mud on the site now. Yeah, this is subfloor, and then it looks like we're starting to get some framing in. And yeah, a lot more framing there and some sheeting. So yeah, I think this is pipe for our dispersion trench right here, and that looks like conduit. So yeah, just like some stuff that's stored here on the site. It's also really cool just to be able to walk around the house now. We got all the backfill done back here, and you know, it's really muddy. They got the grading really well done. So it drops 6 inches over 10 feet here. And then, you know, you guys saw these big brush piles in our excavation videos. As soon as we get, you know, enough clearance here, we're gonna have a contractor come in and tackle some of these larger piles. There's one there, one here, and one here that we want to try to get chipped up and just have the chips laid down in piles so that we can use that for mulching. Like here, it's like you can just see like how muddy it's gonna be over the winter. So we need to get some, you know, like hay and mulch and stuff down so that, you know, we're not just tracking mud through the entire house. But yeah, we're gonna get somebody to chip these for us because we just simply don't have time at the moment. If we did, we'd do it ourselves. But between working full-time jobs and caring for that one right there, it just doesn't leave a whole lot of time for us to drive over here and get work done. So you saw Phil, he was doing some 360 cams for our lender. And so they require us to do these walkarounds at least, I think, every 2 weeks, plus major milestones, so that they can approve the draws for the contractor to get paid. So yeah, he was just walking around doing some 360, and then we'll have those images, you know, forever, so that we have records of our house as well. So it's kind of cool. Part of me wants to know why there's so much trash in our electrical trench. Like, what are all those? And why are they down there? More trash. I broke my toe, so I'm out here in my white Adidas, but I think I need to go ahead and put on my boots.
Straight line. It's like this whole spot's not attached. These need to be every 6 inches, and there's like 1 or 2.
They're definitely not glued down.
Yeah. Hey, Jack.
The general contractor heard our concerns, and the superintendent came back out to assess the extent of the damage and determine the corrective scope. So as the superintendent took a look, he called out areas where we saw the damage and spray painted with orange paint. That's really easier to see the next day when the weather cleared up a little bit better, so you can really see that orange spray paint there on the closest corner of the house to the camera. He then, came out and pointed that out to the subcontractor and really highlighted the areas that they needed to fix. So the sub did acknowledge that mistake, and they took corrective action pretty quickly. And what you can see here is where those damage zones were noted. They pulled up those panels and reinstalled them. So in this time lapse, you can see where those failed sheets come up, the fasteners got removed, and fresh OSB went down. And you can really see where those replacement sheets were then detailed around the anchor bolts. Once that floor diaphragm was restored, the crew immediately transitioned into layout for the first floor framing. You can see them snapping lines for the wall locations, checking the dimensions, and confirming square. After layout, they began standing walls, starting with the exterior perimeter and working inwards towards the load-bearing partitions. Watching it in time-lapse really gives you an appreciation for how quickly a house takes shapes once the framing really begins. By the end of the sequence, the first floor walls are up, the rim board is tied in, and the framing looks pretty clean and consistent. Even though losing time to rework is frustrating, I'd rather have the team correct a defective installation now than bury a problem under the rest of the structure. It is so exciting to see the house starting to take shape. It's really exciting. So on this front face, they have our large 2-story foyer already framed with the exterior siding, or not the siding, but like the sheathing on. Got sheeting on part of the front of the house as well. And then I think most of the interior first floor walls have been framed out. So do a little mini tour here. This is going to be our den. Turn around here, and this is like a dining room. On the other side of that, you can see that's going to be where the garage goes. And they don't have the stairs in yet. The stairs are going to go this way and up. So that's really exciting. Some updates from last time is that they did have to replace a bunch of the sheeting, the subfloor, the OSB. The guys are out here like stomping on the sheeting, trying to slam them over anchor bolts, and it delaminated a bunch of the sheets. And so they actually did come out and replace probably nearly half of them. It was ridiculous. Contractor apologized. He took care of it, blamed it on the sub. But yeah, that was not cool. So yeah, but it got fixed. Looks pretty good now. Over here, that's where the kitchen's gonna go. This is like a big great room space. And then back over this way, there's gonna be a powder room, and then a small guest room back that way. And then coming back this way. I just had a helicopter fly overhead. Not sure whose that was, but it does remind me. Phil's at search and rescue training right now, so it's just me and the kiddo here on site. We got a couple things to do. Did you see the helicopter?
I saw him.
He saw the helicopter.
Mom.
So yeah, so this is where the kitchen is going. Oh, interesting. Okay, so I think there's some framing off here. I don't know, they might be cutting it in later, but that's the mud room there. And through here is supposed to be our pantry, like a butler's pantry, and then it passes through and goes through to the dining room. I'll have to look at the plans, but pretty sure there's supposed to be a doorway somewhere in there. So I'm going to take a look at that and maybe make a comment. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's the first floor. We're really, really excited. It's crazy how fast this came up. I think they're supposed to have the second floor done next week. And, you know, it's going to keep going super fast from there. Okay, yeah, I had to turn off the camera to check the plans, but let's see. Right here, there's supposed to be a doorway, a pass-through that goes straight through there into the dining room. And this little alcove here, that's where like the fridge and I think the microwave is supposed to go. And then if you do walk through here, like if you walk through, like if there is a doorway, then this is supposed to be our pantry right here. And there's also no doorway here. So I have to guess that they're like, they framed it and then they're gonna like cut it in later, which doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense to me. Again, yeah, it just seems wrong because, you know, if there's doorways, yeah, it just doesn't seem to make sense with like how I understand framing to be done. Like we need a header for the doorways to transfer the load from, you know, the framing members on either side of the door. I don't really understand why they would have just like framed it up and then cut it in later, but maybe you guys, if you got some expert framers in the comments, you know, let us know how you would do it. And if this makes sense or if this is like some sort of a shortcut way to do it. I don't know. Okay, another thing I have to do today is spread out some hay and straw to take care of some of these mud puddles that we got going on. It does, like, that is our responsibility as owners. The contractor won't do that for us. So you see here. So yeah, we've already got a couple comments that the contractor is like concerned about, you know, the workers like slipping in the mud or tracking mud inside the house. So I'm going to try to get some hay down and try to take care of some of the mess here. So see how it goes. All right, we got these bales a few months ago, if you remember, from clearing the site, and they're already starting to fall apart because of all the moisture and rain. So we'll see how this goes. This is so disgusting. Like, I haven't worked a lot with hay, but at least I know, like, we left it undercover. It's gonna get gross. It's gonna rot. Like, I know that, but I did not know it was gonna be this gross. But that's 2.5 bales down. I think I've got at least one more full bale, hoping to get that last side of the house done. And then if I run out of hay, then at least whatever I buy next will be hopefully fresher and less gross. I forgot to mention as well that doing all this on a broken toe, our son dropped a frozen turkey on my foot right before Thanksgiving, and it's been such a pain to walk around on. And I think I re-broke it last night on just like a bad step walking around the house. So hurts like hell, but we still got to get this shit done. That's the front of the house done. That last bale was a lot drier. It's a lot easier to spread, so that was pretty nice. But yeah, I'm disgusting. So I still need to do an inspection of the house, and then my construction time-lapse camera, the batteries are dead, so I actually need to get batteries and get it back into that before the toddler melts down.